Do Caesar Capital. Hope you're well. It's the 8th of May, 2025. Haven't done a video in a while. Sorry, I've had some personal problems. My girlfriend became really unwell. So we've been back and forth to the hospital for a while, but she's better now, so that's all good. But that's put me off here. And to be honest, it was a time not really to be looking at the market. It was a long period of consolidation. It was a time really to be touching grass, playing golf, improving your handicap, whatever you do. Just forget about the market for a minute. But here you go. Here's a video. This might be a fairly long one to catch up with everything that's been going on. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at the structure of Bitcoin and how that's affected the price. Then we're going to look at Bitcoin versus gold. Then we're going to look at global liquidity. Then we're going to look at Bitcoin dominance and how that is affecting the altcoins. Then we're going to look at a couple of altcoins, Sooie and Salana. And then we're going to look at the bigger picture. Okay, so get a cup of tea, get a beer, and we shall start. So this is the Bitcoin chart on the weekly. And as you can see, ever since the low back in November, December 2022, we've just had these periods of explosive movements up out of the low there, then long periods of consolidation, then explosive movement up, then a period of consolidation, then an explosive move to the upside, a period of consolidation, a move to the upside, then a period of consolidation. And as you can see on the chart now, we were consolidating under 91,000 down to the previous high of about 73. And of course, everybody and their grandmother was calling a bear market, just like everybody and their grandmother was calling a bear market here in the summer of 24, where we consolidated for that long period of time. Then suddenly, boom, we exploded out of it. Now, this sort of chart, looking at it, it's very orderly. And orderly charts come with usually experienced institutional traders. And since over a year now, we've had ETF and institutional involvement, and there was probably a bit of institutional involvement prior to that. Hence the reason why we've got a very orderly looking chart of periods of consolidation, then moved higher, periods of consolidation, higher. The reason why is because, of course, hedge funds, institutions will take long time to, take position. Because they want to get in a good position, and sometimes the price could be manipulated. Even though Bitcoin's market cap is almost 2 trillion, it's not the biggest asset in the world, and there is the potential for some form of manipulation, but that can only go on for a few months before it decides to move to the upside. So we have these long periods of consolidation where institutions are getting in position, then an explosive move to the upside, consolidation, etc. And that's really the sort of structure of Bitcoin and the way it's been trading really for at least the last 2 years. And I think this is really sort of getting under the skin of your traditional crypto bro, especially the altcoin bro type, because they don't come from institutions. They very rarely have ever traded institutional assets. They've got no experience around that, and therefore they don't understand proper structure, proper order, and how things work that way. But this is a really nice chart to look at, if you ask me. And I like the way it's orderly because it's a little bit more predictable. In previous bull markets, things have been a lot more explosive to the upside, a lot more downside. But there's more order here, and I think this is really getting under the skin of a lot of crypto bros, and particularly the altcoin guys. And this is why, guys, you really need to have a balanced portfolio. The people that have been just in altcoins, and I know there's always going to be one person who's been in the right altcoin, right? Yeah, but 99% of people who've been in altcoins have been feeling the pain this cycle, because this cycle's been slightly different to previous cycles. And they would never have felt the pain so much if they had just thought, just for one moment, what is a good risk management technique when looking at a portfolio? It certainly is not going all in on shitcoins. That's possibly the worst strategy you can ever come to crypto with. You need a good balanced portfolio. And I go around the world talking at events about this all the time. And for me, and in my group, the minimum amount of Bitcoin you need in a portfolio to hedge your risk is at least 50%. At least, I would say more than that. My position is 80% plus in Bitcoin, the rest in altcoins. But I always say to my the investors in my group that you need at least 50% Bitcoin, and then you can start looking at a good allocation to some stronger altcoins like Salana, Ethereum, etc., etc. But the people who have just been in altcoins have really felt the pain. But if they had had a very good balanced portfolio with at least 50% Bitcoin, maybe more, they never would have felt any of this pain. But there we are. It is what it is. Anyway, back to the chart. So you can see on this chart, it's very orderly, as I say. But what's interesting about this chart as well, though, is that we have these periods of consolidation, then break, consolidation, break, as we've been through. But what's interesting about the breaks is from the low of the consolidation area to the peak of the next move, as it were, then the consolidation, it's usually about 90 to 100% move. So we've got this move off the low into consolidation, then the move higher into the next area of consolidation. That was a 96% move. Then we have this area of consolidation move up. That was a 95.65% move. Then we have this long area of consolidation where everyone was calling a bear market. Explosion higher, 99% move. So this is the order I'm talking about, that there is always about a 90 to 100% move to the upside from the low to the next peak. And interestingly enough, that takes Bitcoin, if this were to happen, so this is the low back on the 7th of April 25, of about 74K, again, where all the bears were coming out doing somersaults, saying the bear market's coming. From there, 100% up to the upside is about 150K. So my view is that the likelihood is that Bitcoin is probably, once it breaks through this area of 108, 110K, is probably going to go somewhere close to 150K. It might be a bit shorter. It could be 135, 140, but I would say between 130, 150K. And once it gets there, the likelihood is it's going to peak out there and consolidate for a while. And what's going to happen? Everyone's going to call for a bear market. And that is unlikely because, in my view, I think we continue this bull trend for the rest of this year. But of course, we have to continue to monitor the charts, look at the indicators, see what's going on. But right now, Bitcoin is just shy of 100,000. It's trading at 99,793, changing all the time, of course. And we have a bullish cross just about to happen on the logarithmic MACD. Now, this is a logarithmic chart, and this is the logarithmic MACD. There's no point looking at a logarithmic chart with a linear MACD and vice versa, okay? So this is the logarithmic MACD. You can see here that there was this bearish cross, which caused this consolidation period. Now, that has now completed. The bearish momentum here has completely gone, and it's now waning and going bullish. So I would say probably if we can close above 92,000 this week, then there will be a confirmed bullish cross on the logarithmic MACD. And the last time there was a confirmed bullish cross on the logarithmic MACD, Bitcoin went up 99%. The previous, it went up 95, etc., etc. So the average move being 90 and 100%. Things are looking pretty bullish for me at the moment. I have not at any point flip-flopped or wavered from that view. It just did not make any sense to me that we were going into a bear market, both here January down to April, and indeed in the summer of 2024. It made absolutely no sense at all. Now, let's look at Bitcoin and gold. This is a really interesting chart. Okay, so Bitcoin versus gold. So as it stands, Bitcoin is trading at 29.77 ounces of gold. Again, we've got almost a bullish cross on the logarithmic MACD. I suspect that will cross within 2 weeks. And this is a very bullish looking chart. I know a lot of trend line traders, and by the way, never trade just based on a trend line. It's just, quite frankly, it's retarded. Trend lines are, useful to use just to see where the trend is, but that's about it. Particularly diagonal trend lines, not really helpful at all. But a lot of people were calling, oh, it's a bear market now because, it's fallen out of this trend line. Just a load of nonsense, really. It's back above the trend line now. But anyway, there's something for you to learn. But what we can see here on this chart, it's a lovely looking chart. We've got the low, we've got a high low, we've got another high low, and we've got another high low. So that is the definition of a bull market. Now, if and when the MACD crosses in the next couple of weeks, I would imagine the Bitcoin gold ratio chart will start moving to the upside. Now, if you can get to up into this area, this pink area, into about the 40 ounce range, then depending, of course, what the price of Bitcoin will be, that would, at the moment, I think gold is about $3,372 an ounce. So that would be 39 ounces times 3,372, which I think is about 131K or so. So my view is this chart will continue to move higher. The reason why is because Bitcoin tends to lag gold somewhat. When you see a move in gold, Bitcoin tends to follow. It's about a 90-day lag or so. But my view is that Bitcoin will start moving up versus the price of gold. And once it gets to the 40 ounce range, you're looking at 131,000 or thereabouts price of Bitcoin, depending, of course, what the price of gold is at the time. But interestingly enough, when you look at this chart, you have quite a lot of data here going back some time. So let's go and look at this. So this was the previous all-time high of Bitcoin back in December 2017. And as you can see, Bitcoin versus gold came up, and then there was this area of price discovery where it breached out. Okay, and that was the real last explosive move of Bitcoin to the upside. It's sort of blow off top, I mean, even though it was not arguably a blow off top that time, but it was a pretty strong move to the upside. But my point is this, is that once it breached that previous all-time high, it then went on this price discovery. Same back in the all-time high of 2013. You can see here, Bitcoin, once it gets above the previous all-time high, it just has this super explosive move to the upside, versus gold, where it makes its ultimate high at 20,000 US dollars. Or would have been $15 versus 1 Bitcoin, 15 ounces of gold versus 1 Bitcoin. So my point is this, is that we are not even breaching yet the previous all-time high. So once we start breaching this area of about 39 ounces versus 1 Bitcoin, 39 ounces of gold versus 1 Bitcoin, then we're going to have a really quite explosive move to the upside, in my view. So, 131K or so, or thereabouts, maybe it's 137, I can't remember, my maths isn't great off the top of my head. But once it gets up, there's going to be, in my view, this area of price discovery, which is going to push the price of Bitcoin a lot higher than 131,000. So really bullish chart, bullish cross, really nice looking chart. I think this is a chart that you need to look at a little bit more rather than other charts. So let's look quickly at liquidity. Now, I'm not going to go on about liquidity because I know so many people now are on the liquidity train, and liquidity is something in my group we've been speaking about for years. It's something I have been speaking about at conferences for years, but now suddenly everyone thinks they're a master of liquidity. But anyway, this is the global M2 liquidity. So this basically tracks the liquidity of 21 central banks. And you can see that there is a clear, so the price of Bitcoin is in black, and the liquidity, global liquidity, is in blue. Again, there's a lag. The lag is about 10 to 12 weeks, and you can see that there has been this clear breakout in global liquidity, and Bitcoin is now following that. So when global liquidity starts to wane slightly, so coming down, then that might be a good sign that there could be a correction on the way, or a period of consolidation. But again, this is a really bullish looking chart. Like the gold versus Bitcoin chart, there's a lag. Bitcoin hasn't caught up yet. It's beginning to catch up now. So my view is we go higher. Right, let's have a look at Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance, bit of a funny one, this one. Done quite a few videos on Bitcoin dominance. Back in September 2022, I was calling for a 60% Bitcoin dominance. Obviously, it's gone a bit higher than I anticipated. There was this drawdown here back in November 24, where I thought that it had topped out. I was wrong. You have to accept when you're wrong, you're wrong. I was wrong about that. But what we were right about was that back in September 2022, when people were saying an altcoin season was around the corner, that was just a stupid, ridiculous call to make. And, I was saying at least 60%, 58, 60%. We've gone a little bit higher than that. But, this chart looks so overbought. I mean, look at the RSI. This is the highest the monthly RSI has ever been on Bitcoin dominance. It's never been this high. So, when things go up a lot, they come down deep, okay? And I just think that we are looking potentially at a top now. I know a lot of people are worried about their altcoin bags, but, there will be an alt season. I am fairly sure of that. Whether there is going to be traditional alt seasons in the future, I doubt that, but we can talk about that in another video. I think that after this cycle, there could potentially be some form of .com type bubble in the crypto market where 90% of shitcoins are wiped out. That's another video. That's another discussion for another day. But my point is this. The RSI is so ridiculously high now. I think that we are very, very close to this topping out. And once Bitcoin dominance starts to fall, which it will, your altcoin bags will start to move significantly. Okay, let's have a look at Sooie. So Sooie is one of the coins that or assets that I suggested that my group buy back in September 23, and it was 45. It was around 45 cents, and was it? It was 45 cents or so when we bought it. It's now trading at $3.80, so we've almost got a 10x return on that. Not bad, but Sooie is an absolute monster of an asset. It's taking on Salana. It's taking on Ethereum. It's a really good layer one protocol. I've met the team in Dubai. I think that this is solid. I met the team after I'd researched this and taken a heavy position. When I met the team, I doubled down on that position. And I think that was a good decision to make. But anyway, the chart looks really good. It's one of the strongest looking altcoin charts in crypto at the moment. I think that this is going to do really well. Again, we've got a bullish cross on the logarithmic MACD. And my original, in my report that I wrote to the group back in September 23 was $8. That's the way, at that point, that's how I was valuing it. I won't go into details of how I valued it, but that's how I valued Sooie at that time. That, interestingly enough, from a Fibonacci perspective on a trend-based fib extension, so anchoring the low to the high to the low, is the 1618 or thereabouts. But I've had to review my target with Sooie, and a lot of people think I'm crazy with this target, but I don't think I'm that crazy. And my new target for Sooie is $20. And I know some people are probably going to fall off their seat when they hear that, but from the conversations I've had with the team, what they're doing, what they're taking on, I don't think that there's I don't think $20 is going to be particularly hard to achieve. But that being said, I mean, this area of around about $8-9 is definitely an area that you might be interested in taking profit. But the $20 target up here, 3618, there's absolutely no reason why it can't reach out to a full extension to the 3618. So maybe some people will think I'm mad, but I'm saying Sooie is going to $20 this cycle or thereabouts. Right, last one, Salana, again, pretty strong looking altcoin compared to most of the others. We've got a bullish cross forming on the logarithmic MACD again. Nice area of long period of consolidation. What's it been consolidating for? Like, yeah, a year. It's been consolidating for over a year. So there's going to be an explosive move from Salana once it gets above $257. And my top target for Salana again is reaching out to the 3618. I think Solana is going to do what Ethereum did last cycle. And I think we're looking at an $800 to $900 Solana. Maybe you think I'm mad again, but trust me, I am probably one of the most conservative and reasonable crypto trader / investors out there. I'm not a moon boy. Anyone in my group will tell you that. We take things very seriously. We look at things very seriously with a professional view, and we try to be as conservative as we can. And that is my view of Solana. So all in all, there is absolutely nothing to cry about in this cycle. I think things are looking pretty good. We have institutional capital here. There will be trillions of dollars rolling in to crypto this year. And I think we're going to have a really good year. Obviously, there are going to be corrections along the way, and there are going to be bears talking bear markets again, every few months or so. But all in all, I think the year of 2025 is going to be good. So finally, before we go, this is a channel that is quite interesting. It's a channel that Bitcoin has respected since 2017. And I think there is so let me make myself clear here. My base case for Bitcoin in 2025 is 150,000. My super bullish case is about 250,000. And the reason why is 250,000 is around about the top or thereabouts of this channel. So I think that Bitcoin by Q4 2025 could potentially reach in this sort of area of 250, 260K, the top area of this channel. So up like this. Maybe it won't happen. We'll have to watch. But what I think a lot of people are underestimating is the power of institutions and the capital that will be flowing into Bitcoin. It hasn't even really started yet. And when I speak to people from Bitwise, et cetera, it's unbelievable the level of capital that will be on its way very, very soon. So that's it for today. Remain, bullish. Remain calm. Don't worry about things. If you've overexposed yourself to shitcoins this cycle, then hey, don't worry about it. Hopefully you've learned a lesson. Hopefully next cycle you can look at things from a more balanced perspective and have a better balanced portfolio and do a better job. If not, there's always the possibility of you reconstructing your portfolio, et cetera. That's something we can help you with. If you want to join the group, then the link is in the description. Check out the website, send us an email, or you can DM me directly on Twitter. I'm always happy to help. Okay, so that's it. Stay calm, stay cool, enjoy the rest of your day, and have a good weekend when it comes. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.